It's funny how I still come across many people saying the good old famous boxing is dead, or even just saying it's on the decline. But personally, I felt the sport has never really gone on a massive decline at any point. Of course, there's been times when boxing takes dips due to a lack of a superstar, a knockout artist, or even having consistent big fights. Another reason I see people point to this is obviously the poor officiating and judging that can put people off.
118, 110 for Canelo? No, that did not happen.
I do agree this pisses people off, but most of those people will always end up coming back at some point down the line. And before you say they moved to MMA, well, guess what? There's bad officiating there too at times. There's just so many more boxing events than there is MMA events worldwide. So unfortunately, there's always going to be more dodgy decisions, and in boxing, this is highlighted a lot more. And before you comment saying that I hate MMA, I 100% don't. I have total respect and actually enjoy watching it from time to time, just to see something different, and also give myself a break from my hardcore boxing fan analysis brain. But continuing with the topic, being from the UK, boxing is still a bigger place here, as there's just more events for fans to watch. And when I say that, I mean not having to get up in the middle of the night to watch a big fight in North America. However, the UK in particular has a big enough range of stars now to be able to fight over here at prime time. The UFC and MMA has seen a massive rise in recent years, and if I'm being honest, I think that's a big thanks to the likes of Conor McGregor and obviously the marketing of the UFC. His rise and so-called trash-talking charisma got him to UFC stardom, while also combined with the sharp rise of social media, helping to spread the reach of his funny sound bites to a wider audience all over the globe.
What? What'd you say? Getting smart there?
Before McGregor even came into the picture, I could probably only name you 3 famous mixed martial artists, including Ronda Rousey, George St. Pierre, or Chuck Liddell. But boxing has always had a rich history of fighters with the likes of Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Hagler, just to name a few. But it was the likes of Mike Tyson that captured me at a young age due to that ferociousness and viciousness he had to knock out opponents. Especially in the lead up to his fight with Lennox Lewis towards the end of his career. He almost got labelled as a madman due to the things that he was saying. And of course his famous ear-biting incident against Evander Holyfield. But it caused such intrigue for young fans to get drawn to what this man could still be. However, focusing on more recent times, it's seen the likes of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather dominate the boxing world. And you could arguably say that era actually damaged the sport, with these two not fighting each other in their prime. Fast forward a couple of years later, it was a retired Floyd Mayweather who saw much opportunity with this potential matchup, challenging the UFC star to a boxing fight, which ended up being one of the biggest money fights in history. Many people saw this as a circus act, but in fact, I think this gave the sport even more eyes and a new leaf of life. Not too long after that, we started to see the rise of big time social media stars getting in on the act, because they have an audience of young fans that are willing to watch and pay to see these internet celebrities fight each other to get bragging rights. These fans are willing to pay the money or even persuade their parents to buy it for them, and something like that is bringing eyes to a sport that we love. I feel one of the big issues though, however, is the entrance into the sport, which is my problem. I came into it through watching the old clips of Muhammad Ali and the knockouts of Mike Tyson, whereas people are coming into the sport by watching things like KSI versus Logan Paul. It is a problem, however, it's clear that a percentage of this young group is now starting to get involved in the sport and watch the real stuff. This is where you actually see the world-class skills, the stories, brutal knockouts, and even the emotions of lifetime dreams coming true. I recently came across this article in Forbes where a top-rank exec discussed how boxing is on the rise in the US, where it was seen to be in the decline for many years. They touched on the poll data from the esteemed Harris poll, which surveyed more than 2,000 adults in 2021. And in the US, boxing is now considered the 4th most popular sport, with 33% of respondents saying they are fans of the sweet science. Ranking ahead of boxing is football at 62%, baseball and basketball both 49%, but perhaps the biggest Harris poll reveal is that boxing ranks one spot ahead of MMA. Back in 2010, boxing failed to place in Harris's poll for the top 10. In this article, they also talked to top rank exec Brian Kelly, who has said that social media is the key part to drawing in the younger fans. He said, "Boxing's format caters very well to how Gen Z consumes content. A boxing match can be over in 5 seconds or last 36 minutes. There can be an incredible knockout at any moment, and you don't want to miss it. It's drawing in an audience, and it's great in terms of growing the sport. In recent years, we're seeing the shift in the casual boxing fans are becoming more passionate boxing fans, and we want the sport of boxing to continue to grow and thrive." However, there still is the issue of the celebrity boxing culture that's going on, but it's driving eyes to this sport. Even for older generations, they're trying to sell in the nostalgia factor of recent fights of Tyson versus Roy Jones, for example, as a way to continue drawing eyes of people that maybe lost touch with the sport. Now, yes, I agree to the point. This can be extremely unfair for fighters that are up and coming right now and train their whole life. But I believe there's a shift starting to happen, as younger fans are starting to be drawn to the real thing. It maybe isn't something we like or even want, but it brings more eyes. It brings more money, which in turn gives more opportunities and money to the fighters across the board. Fighters need to realise that self-promotion is key to winning in this game. You can have all the skills in the world, and that can take you far, but the opportunity they have to promote themselves at a press of a button now will be vital in the years to come for this next crop of upcoming fighters. The harsh reality of the boxing world is that it is a brutal and unfair place at times, just like the world we live in. But people keep getting drawn into the sport. People keep living, no matter what era we are in, due to the rich history, the stories provided, the drama, the twists, and the skill and art of the sweet science. Boxing will never be dead. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you think the future of boxing is going. Do you feel this younger generation are starting to become hardcore fans and really appreciate the sweet science? Personally, I believe that is the case, and I think we're starting to see a shift of these younger fans actually watching the real fight game now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.